You know that wish list you have of all the things you would buy if you didn't have bills to pay? Well, President Obama submitted his to Congress this week. He even proposes some ways to pay for the items on his list with $3 billion in tax hikes, ones that Congress will probably never pass. The good news is the debt added to our $19 trillion in IOUs would only go up $500 billion. Welcome to Washington. It's all part of our weekly's America's Debt Crisis series.
The budget that we're releasing today reflects my priorities.
President Obama's $4.1 trillion wish list hit the halls of Congress this week, and Republicans swiftly kicked much of it to the curb.
I look at this as something that is totally disconnected with the reality of where we are.
That reality is a $19 trillion national debt that the president's farewell budget will only add to.
There are some priorities that we have that are deeply held that Republicans in Congress do not share.
This is normal in Washington. Both parties committing to budgets where the nation spends more than it takes in, sending those IOUs to future generations. An attitude summed up by former Vice President Dick Cheney, who said, deficits don't matter. President Obama, to his credit here, proposes ways to pay for some of his new proposals with $3 trillion in tax hikes, but Republicans in Congress will never pass these into law. He suggests $320 billion for investments in high-tech transportation, self-driving cars, low-emission mass transit, high-speed rail, all on the docket, paid for by a $10.25 a barrel tax on oil. But Republicans will never go for that. Most of Obama's spending proposals are traditional deficit spending, not offset by spending cuts or tax hikes.
Let's make America the country that cures cancer once and for all.
That's not to say they're bad programs. $1 billion, for instance, to go to the cancer eliminating effort headed up by Vice President Biden. $19 billion to defend the country against cyber attacks, a 35% increase.
One of the biggest gaps between the public sector and the private sector is in our IT space, and it makes everybody's information vulnerable.
The president's budget offers to try to slow the growth of annual deficits for the next decade by limiting discretionary spending. But as Americans age, increasing mandatory spending, like Medicare, will continue to add to the national debt. This year, $200 billion will go towards the interest on that debt, just the interest. And that amount is expected to more than triple by 2026. It's Washington, D.C.'s game of kicking the can. And your kids are going to be it.